welcome to the 37th episode of the Paul Pate Podcast. I am honored to have with me as a guest today, Kit Kinchen, or Coach K as a lot of people know him. Now folks, I normally do a podcast about art. And this show is a little departure, but I say only a little because this guy is an artist. But he's an artist with football. More specifically, electric football. Welcome to the podcast, Kit.
Hey, Coach. I truly appreciate you having me on the show. And although I don't do any Picassos, I do think that we'll be able to go through some of the things as it relates to electric football. And so pleased to be on your show.
Yeah, thanks. So I want to tell people how I came across you. So I was a kid and I played electric football. When we moved to Michigan, we got here when I was about 7. I came from Texas. I grew up a Cowboys fan, as we talked about a minute ago. And then I came across an electric football field by good luck, and I played it. That was my childhood. I spent my childhood playing solitary electric football, and I played it I played it so wrong, Coach. I played it so wrong, but I loved it. So anyway, I thought about football just all the time. I mean, I love football, and I wanted to be the quarterback for the Cowboys. My whole life. I just gave up on that dream a couple of years ago. When I just, I figured they aren't going to sign me. This Dak Prescott, he's pretty good. So
yeah.
So anyway, a couple of years ago, or about a year ago, I decided I'm going to give electric football. I'm going to get my electric football field out and get all my guys out and take a look at it again. And I got on Facebook and the internet and started looking at YouTube videos, and man, it's a lot different than what I was doing with it, and guys are playing in leagues, and it's very popular all over the country. So I was excited about that, and now I got my field set up, and I've got my players, and I'm trying to get good at it. I went to a tournament, got crushed, and so I had a whole bunch of fun. And then I started looking at videos about how to play different rule sets, and that's where I came across Coach K and TOEPRO football. And so I really like how the rule set emulates the game, as you say, the rules, the laws, the privileges, and you just break it down really nicely. And plus, I just like listening to your voice. It's entertaining, and the way you talk about stuff. So anyway, that's my introduction to you, or of you. Tell me about yourself.
I'm a 20-year veteran of the United States Army, and I'm currently here in Kuwait. I serve as a contractor overseas, but my passion wasn't lost on the game in that the many years in which I played it as a kid ended for me roughly after I graduated high school, but the passion never died. And what I found was I got back into the hobby about 3 years ago after discovering a few, YouTube videos about it. And then I joined the Miniature Football Coaches Association. And the next thing you know, I'm on my way to trying to show fellow coaches how I played as a kid that was so profound. We had procedures about how we played, but I couldn't find that one little thing to just help guys transition from what I know the way football is played now to what it should play like. Because for the very first time, you're playing it not knowing what the other person is going to do until that board turns on. It's so profound that once it's implemented into your gameplay, leagues, coaches, tournaments, I really hope to be able to bring this to the forefront so that electric football coaches and leagues now can play nationwide, right? Because the rule set features all the things and it doesn't matter anymore about what your board speed is, what the weight of the player is.
You see,
If you're all pretty much general, there's a general guideline, general structure, and then from there, everybody can play anybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a kid, teenager, adult, ex-football player. It doesn't matter
if you're the Lions head coach.
Hey, and he said it best, and that was one of the things I found profound. He started, his passion for the game started by developing strategies playing electric football. And once you then start developing strategies to cover the X, block the Y, seal the edge, hold the edge, don't let the
all these terms that you're using are football terms. They're not electric football terms. They're football. When you learn about football, you learn that terminology. You learn what
you will. Right. And the reason why you'll learn them, the same terminology, because when you're playing with TOEPRO football and you don't know what's going to happen, the responsibilities are the same.
Right.
I have to set the edge. I don't want to give away the blitz, but I want to show him I'm going to look one way and come back the other way. But I don't know exactly what his play is going to be. But if he runs this play, he's going to run right into the defense that I had planned for him, and it's going to go for a loss. But if I miss, it could cost me real big, Yeah. So those same types of things, as coaches have talked to me about, how do I play this or implement a certain part of it? I then tell them if you do what I'm telling you to do as it relates to the procedures, you're going to find it plays just like football.
I got one for you, Coach. I got one for you.
Sure.
All right, I saw this on the discussion the other day, and you answered it, but I didn't fully understand it. So I'm gonna give you a chance to answer a question for me. The one about the question, I can't remember who asked it. It may have been Cedric or Danny, about the lineman downfield, illegal receiver downfield. Like if I don't put a defensive lineman in front of your guard, and your guard just runs 10 yards downfield, now he's off. He's an illegal receiver downfield, right?
Right, an eligible receiver downfield.
Ineligible, yeah. So how do you? What is your strategy on offense to avoid doing that? Okay,
there are two. First, understanding why is that rule put in place? Yep. Okay,
that part I understood, but go ahead.
Yeah. Right. The thing that's important is we know that's important in football because we don't want offensive linemen blowing out coverage areas and then creating a vacuum for receivers to get into that offensive linemen or people who are supposed to be in coverage can't respond to that.
Right.
Have your linemen blocking left or right.
Okay.
They have to do it in order to avoid going into areas where they shouldn't go.
Okay. Right? Okay.
So this is an area whereby, let me show you. On this offensive lineman, you see, he's a TTC base.
Okay.
If I was to have him on something like this, I have to configure him so that he blocks down quickly left or right. So you have a 20-yard area in which your lineman, your line play area is that area where guys are shooting at quarterback, shooting the, all kinds of, fighting, biting, and scratching. Those are the trenches.
Yeah.
So that area was set. But on passing plays, your offensive lineman can't be beyond it.
So so you took that from the actual NFL rule book?
Right from the rule book. So once I studied the NFL rule book, I studied professional football in the rule book that it came from for approximately a year and a half, in creating this rule book. And every particular rule section, article, I read it. Once I read it, what's the equal to being on the electric football field? No bells, no whistles. Just what is the equivalent? Then say, okay, can a base do this?
Right.
If it can, put it in the rule. Don't worry about, let coaches figure it out after the rule is implemented. And then that's how it came about. But it's the first rule set in execution-based football that said, number one, this is so important. It must be done because the defense has a right to cover the field. And if you don't have that, you're going to always create that vacuum. Right. And then you'll find yourself back to playing football under what is preferred, whether over what is the rights, laws, and privileges.
Okay, nice. Now, there's one key element of TOEPRO football that really kind of sets it apart from what people are accustomed to when they play electric football. Can you tell us about that?
I think the thing that is the most profound thing about the electric football configuration, and I wrote an article about it, and I put lots of articles. If you go to my my Facebook page, I've written about it in the Miniature Football Coaches Association as well, and I've articulated it to Tutor Games, whereby I emphasize the offense having the last move.
Right.
And I had tons of questions, and I'm willing to answer all kinds of questions, but I offer a couple of questions that are simple, profound, and if you think about it, it's actually the way it should be. Here's the first question. Who is the attacking element in the game of football? Well, it's the offense. Right. I mean, that's what it means. Offense. I want to offend you. All right. I want to get the ball into your end zone. Okay. So we know now the offense is in fact the attacking element. Okay.
Right.
The defense can attack, but it does so with risk, knowing that if they miss, something bad's gonna happen. Okay. So that inherently gives them the understanding that I must cover the field. Okay.
Right.
So that's the first question. Who is the attacking element? It's the offense. If I know I'm playing a game whereby before the action gets ready to start,
okay,
one side acts, then another side acts. One side acts, then another side acts. Whose side is it? If it's offense acting last, would you consider that person attacking before the board turns on?
Yeah, right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
The way it's played and the way it's been structured for so long, it's actually they leave the defense acting last before the board turns on. We know when the board turns on, the play is occurring.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So if you put those two profound, simple things together,
right,
you then understand it's actually the offense.
Okay.
And why is it defenses when you look at the modern game? And I like to call it the modern game because it's how coaches have constructed their rule sets today in execution-based football. Because there are many different facets of it. There are many different types of rule sets. But I talk about execution-based. Okay. And in execution-based, that means that board's going to turn on, your play and or your scheme is acting at that time. Okay?
Gotcha. Right.
But if you flip it, wait a minute. Now I don't know because he gets the last move. So now I have to be careful with my coverages. I have to be careful with everything. And isn't that just like football?
Right.
The defense doesn't know what their play is going to be.
You got to cover your gap. You got to cover your corner. You got to cover, so everybody's got their position. That's nice. Nice. So right. let me review this now. The way most of us play it is I got my formation and offense set up, and right before the snap, I'll adjust like my tailback. I'll have them run, I'll turn them and I'll point them to the right side because I want them to go around the corner. And then you'll adjust your linebacker or your safety to point right at that corner.
No.
Right. Well, I'm saying that's how a lot of us do it now. But what you're saying is flip it. because
Right.
right because that like you may have adjusted your middle linebacker to cover that corner. Well, middle linebacker is supposed to be covering the middle.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
And more importantly, the defense has to maintain its gap integrity.
Right.
Because now he don't know where you may go, and now the true responsibility of defensive players are in place without even thinking about it, because you know, as the defense, I don't know where he's going to hit me. I may have watched him over time, and he loves to run that off tackle on the right side. You know,
right.
when he has the wide side of the field, he usually goes to the strong side. You know,
right.
If he plays on the right side, he's going to hit the wide side and go off tackle. I've watched him do this 3 times in a game, so that's his normal tendency. So instead of just watching what you see there and playing it, now you have to really study a coach. You have to know what his players like to do. You're watching certain players, where they're strong, where they're weak. Can they get off the ball quickly? Can I get my guy into the gap faster than he can block down and block my player?
Right.
Another thing that's important in TOEPRO football is that I have, at minimum, full base width apart. Right. So where it is in the current game, where you have linemen that are so tight, they're real close. Well, there's a reason why that happens. They don't want their linemen to get gapped. Okay.
Right. But
now in TOEPRO football, it puts it in proper order.
Right. Cool. That's awesome. So your passion for this. I mean, you've studied the rule book, and you know, it's really shows through. It's contagious. I mean, when I watch your videos, I was, you know, there's a ton of videos. TOEPRO under TOEPRO, which is TOE-Pro.
No, it's all one. It's all one, and what it comes from is an acronym.
Okay.
It stands for the Official Electric Playing Rules of Football.
Okay. Right. Nice.
And with my Army background, of course, I can always come up with an acronym. So that's what it means. That's what TOEPRO means.
Well, I love it.
And
I love it.
And what I hope for it to do one day is to become the standard by which electric football is then played. You can create many different variations based on skill level, talent, but as long as you stay structured to the procedures that were created, you're not far off, you know.
Yeah,
and just understand who's the offense.
Here's something that I like about you too, that you don't have a problem with anybody playing any rule set. What you do is you're presenting to them the rule set that you feel is, you know, a good standard. Like you said, you want it to be a standard, and you present your reasons why, and I find them solid. You know, you took the NFL rule book and broke it down, and all of the rules are there in TOEPRO, the same numbers and the same concepts. So you present these to all these coaches who argue and fuss about different rule sets, but you've never really gotten into it. You just present what you feel, you know, will be beneficial. You're trying to offer help, and
I will tell you that for me, the first year I didn't make a lot of headway with guys. So what I did like in year 2 of this, and there were different iterations of it. There was expert rules, then advanced gameplay. This is the third, but it's still along the same lines where I came up with this wonderful acronym, TOEPRO. Right. It's where it is. I then started saying, look, you guys, I know that it's hard to break dogma, and that's what this is right now. I know I'm going into this attempting to change dogma. And like anything, most folks don't want to change. They've been accustomed to playing a particular way. Right. So I had to shock them a little bit, okay? And then say, look, guys, this is what you saw when you were playing this particular game. Here's how TOEPRO football covers it, and it's now based on football. is I've planted those seeds all over the hobby to tell folks, and I do it primarily as a member of the Miniature Football Coaches Association.
Right.
I did this to give it to the largest audience because by far, the Miniature Football Coaches Association, what can I say? They're a godsend. And I love to needle and jab them, but I'm actually trying to spread the seeds and let other coaches they're young enough to want to play according to the rules of football, but they are not so old that they aren't willing to examine, to look at a new way of looking at this. Yeah. And let's say, hey, even if I don't know anything about electric football, I know football, and that looks like football.
Right. Right.
Might not be able to do it well, but that looks like football.
Awesome. Let me ask you a question on the 2-part handoff. Can I? So it's more or less a pass, right? Mm-hmm. And after that, can I use my quarterback as a lead blocker?
If he's going in that direction, you can use him that way.
Okay.
That's just one of the things in which once the ball is passed, the quarterback no longer is a person you can touch, interfere with. So there he is. He's sitting there.
He's a blocker.
So that's one of the things, and one of the reasons why I talk about another profound aspect is called the option rule. Okay? There's no option rules in football. Right. I looked at Rule 325, and all they had was run, kick, and pass. In the rule book of football, Rule 6 covers free kicks. Rule 7 covers ball and play. Rule 8 covers passes. Rule 9 covers scrimmage kicks. I don't hear of a rule talking about options.
I understand now. All right. I got you.
So, therefore, that's one of the reasons why TOEPRO football does not have option rules, right? Because there are no option rules.
You could run an option play. You call it an option, but you don't call it option. Right, I got you.
You don't call option.
Okay.
You say
pass.
How you then read and run the board, that's your business,
Right.
All
right.
But you don't get a free peek at the defense, by running an option. Yep. When you turn that board off, something's going to happen that the defense has a right to react to. Because either you're going to change that play from a pass to a run. Even the rules say so. When the ball is then in another person's hands, it's a run play. If you threw it forward or backwards, didn't matter. Once the receiver caught it, a run play begins. Mm-hmm. So all the time, the pass play only occurs when the ball is in the air. Once the receiver catches it, it's a run play. He now takes it and he's running.
I got you. All right.
So that's why.
This is like a technical conversation we're having, and I love it. And you can, what people need to understand is that you can go and watch your videos, and you cover every rule almost of every rule. You got a detailed video and demonstrations of the field, of how it's played in TOEPRO football. And that's awesome. I've watched a whole bunch. I may have watched them all. I may have. I really enjoy them, and I love it. So I want to encourage you to keep it up, and I hope it takes off. And I want to cover a couple of things real quick with you, Coach. Sure. Okay. Just some basic stuff. Okay. Like for people that don't really play electric football. Now, my wife is a big Detroit Lions fan, and so she was a little bit disappointed when the new coach brought up electric football because but she says to me, now listen, how can you get joy out of playing this game when it's like such luck. The guys don't even run where you want them to. And I told her, I said, hey, listen, Coach Caldwell shows up every Sunday for the Lions. He has the same thing. The guys don't run where he wants them to.
Yeah. Yes.
But I, for those that come to, that would say that to you, like this is just random. What would you tell them?
Well, with the advancement in developing, first of all, the art of tweaking
Mm-hmm.
or base manipulation, getting that player to perform a particular skill, i.e., strength, speed, direction, is something that we do with players all day long. That's why they have combines. Same thing occurs.
Right.
So that's a particular skill.
Hey man, I'd love talking to you, man. I could talk to you all night long. Fellow
Yeah.
Cowboys, fan,
Oh yeah.
from
Oh
the
yes.
South, and but we need to wrap it up. So listen, at the end of every podcast, I put my guests on I strand them on a deserted island, and
Okay.
I give you 5 things that you can take to this deserted island, and I got to be rapid fire questions, and you got to answer with you're just there with your own wits and your
Okay.
own ingenuity. Okay, so you're on a deserted island. The first
Okay.
thing that you can take is one dessert. What's it going to be?
Mm. Strawberry cheesecake.
That's a good answer. That's a tasty answer. Very
Mm.
well done. Okay, next question. You got one book to take. What's it going to be? It can't be the official rules of electric football. You wrote it.
Oh gosh, I would have to say a book I loved as a child, Charlotte's Web.
Oh, nice. Very well done. Okay, the third thing is a one album.
Oh gosh, 78, huh?
Yeah,
No, let's see.
sure. Whatever no rules.
Okay,
This is
an
your
album.
island.
Hey, Thriller.
Thriller.
Best Thriller.
Yeah. I was listening to the rerun of the '83 Casey Kasem Countdown, and man,
Yeah.
that year he won every award there was. They made
Yeah, I
up
think
awards.
about it.
They made up awards.
Yeah, I think that almost every song on it hit number one.
Yeah.
Almost. But it was the album with the most number ones on it. And that was during the time frame. I'm not going to date myself, but yeah, I remember that.
Okay, where are we at? We've got cheesecake,
Cheesecake,
Web.
Charlotte's Web, and I
Thriller.
got Thriller.
Okay, listen, we'll put you on an island. You get to take one actress with you.
Vanessa Williams. I'm taking Nessa. Give me Nessa.
Wow,
Yeah,
no
give me
hesitation
Nessa.
there. Don't even have to think about
No doubt about that one. I gotta have Nessa.
it. All right, good.
Oh, you can even bring the kids on too. Come on, yeah, you come on.
Very nice. Okay, last one. You can bring one tool from your tool shed or your basement or garage.
Boy. Now that one. And I always had a toolbox with me, and I guess the first tool I always bought with it, ironically enough, was a hammer. All my toolbox always had a hammer. So that would be it.
Right on. There's so many things you can do with a hammer, It's got the things at the end where, you could turn into a weapon if you need
Claws, yeah, a good claw hammer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I think that every toolbox I've ever bought over my years, when I got the toolbox, the first tool I bought was a hammer. Just had to have that. Had to have a hammer. Yeah, had to have a hammer.
All right, man. Well, this has been really great. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I'll talk to you, I'm sure, lots more. I look forward to more videos, and maybe one day we'll crack some plastic.
Hey, I certainly look forward to it as well. If we ever have an opportunity to talk about other aspects of electric football, please, I'm always here and I'm always available. And hopefully everyone will try it, play it, and let it become the standard by which electric football is then played.
Nice. Hey, and another thing too is I love all the discussions on the MSCA and everything. But one thing that I really believe is if you got somebody sitting across from you that wants to play. Don't get in an argument over the rules. And, so
guys, play. It is so much fun. Yeah.
Great. All right, let's wrap it up. Hey, man, have a great night, and we'll talk to you again soon, Coach K.
Hey, Coach. Thank you so much. Thank you.